Okay, well, against d4, let's play d5. Haven't done that for a while. And we got the classical Queen's Gambit. I play the Slav defense. Going to turn this into a semi-Slav with the pawn triangle. Bring the knight out. Then I'm going to take here. See how he takes back. He could take with either the knight or the bishop, but he chose the bishop. I could have taken a move earlier and just guaranteed that he was going to take with the bishop. Now that's interesting. Usually they drop back to this square, but he dropped back here. What does this mean? It means there's no pressure on this pawn, and I can play c5 immediately. That's why the bishop stays on this diagonal. So you can't play this so easily. Should I take? He'll take with the knight, and then he'll hit this. Let's prepare to castle. Yeah, his queen is hitting this pawn. I could force the bishop back, but I want to just support the pawn, I think. I'm waiting for him to take this pawn so I can take it with the knight, and he'll move his bishop again. And I'll have a good piece there. But he's not doing that. Let's just go ahead and take. Let's develop this bishop to a good square and keep the knight from hopping in right here. And get castled. So this is, looks like the opening has gone well for me. He can put a rook here. He hasn't done that, but that would have been an interesting thing to try. Queen. Should I put the queen out here? He can't easily chase it away there. And I can get my rooks to the two center files. There we go. Next, I can get a knight to d5. He takes, I'll take with the bishop. That is an interesting move, but isn't it premature? Is he planning to sacrifice here? Let's see. I don't believe that sacrifice gains much. This knight seems well enough defended, right? Knight takes, pawn takes, knight takes. Then I have to move my king to get out of this, oops, excuse me, this discovered attack here. Or bishop takes, and then I move the king, and then he's got two pieces attacking here, but I have a knight and a rook defending it. Yeah, so he ended up not going that way. So let's put a knight on this good square. See if he wants to move his bishop. I am threatening to win a pawn here. He came there with the queen. Okay, so I'm going to bring the other knight out. It helps control this square. So I could take here and then put a bishop here. Chase his queen back. I can still do that. Take here, bishop here, and he has to move his queen, and I could trade off the light squared bishop there. And he's left with the somewhat broken pawn structure. Okay, so knight here hits the pawn. If he pushes the pawn forward, I can just take it. Also, this knight is out of play, so I think, I think things are going well for me. Let's see. Ah, the retreating knight defends, yes. I can pile up the pressure, though. Let's see, could trade rooks. I might take back with the queen just so I have this discovered attack here on his queen. Oh, and also I'm keeping this defended. And if it's my turn, I can take here with check. Get my knight out of trouble. Let's see. It doesn't win the queen, unfortunately, because his queen can take. Yeah, kicking the knight doesn't help. So I'd like to get my queen to a good square. Maybe here, come out. Hit this weak pawn here. He's going to try and get his knight in close to my king. I've got squares I can move my bishop to. If I go here, he kicks, huh? Let's go there. Yeah, now he's threatening this pawn and this one. I'm not really threatening the knight because this pawn is pinned. But this bishop is doing a good job on this diagonal. Yeah, he's going to try and chase me off that diagonal. If the rook comes over to attack my bishop again, I'll bring my rook in with check. So let's go here. This should force something, right? He's got to move the knight. If he goes here, I'll take it. Or he could go back here. Decides to keep it. Okay, then in that case, let's force a trade of the rook. Okay, let's take here. Yeah, now I go here, he can take here with check. The king could go here and defend this way. And if he checks along the back rank, I can block with my queen. I could also step up. His knight can't check me. His queen can't check me. Yeah. I think that's simplest. Keep this pawn defended. Yeah, now he's threatening this idea again. So what we'll do is we will defend the pawn this way with the queen. Defending this pawn so that this doesn't matter. And then here we're going to go for an attack on this pawn. There, let's just get the queens off. And then see if we can win this endgame with 2 extra pawns. Should be quite winnable. I think we're getting there. And he resigned, yeah. Makes sense. I don't think there's any way to save that. Okay, let's go back and see if we can get a rapid game. Oh, another d4. Two d4 players in a row. Oh, look at that rating, 2034. That's pretty good. So he's playing d4 and c4, classical response. I'm going to go for a Nimzo Indian if I can. If he plays that, then I like to play the this gambit line, the Blumenfeld gambit. Like this. And he doesn't take it. So the way you take the gambit is you take here, black takes back, and then you take here, and you've won a pawn, and then black plays this pawn forward, and you've got a big center in exchange for the pawn. But he didn't go that way, so what do I play here? Okay, I'm just going to stop this pawn from coming further forward, and if he takes, I'll take with the bishop. That'll be nice. Bring this bishop out, castle. I think it should be okay. I want to remember that I've got time here. So let's stop and consider alternatives. This is definitely a move here you could play. Block the bishop. This move is what I'm playing. This is so in case he takes, I can take back with the pawn and castle and have a ready-made open f-file here. And I'm still planning, let's see, if he takes here now, I'm not planning to sacrifice it anymore. I'm planning to go here with check and then take back. So he's not... He's not taking. He's just pushing and defending. He's not taking any of those pawns. So if he pushes, I take, he takes. I guess it's okay. This is left weak. This is still defended adequately, I guess. Actually, no, it's not defended anymore. When he played this forward, he brought the bishop out here, huh? So let's take here first. You could take with either the bishop or the pawn. Taking with the bishop makes some sense. You could come here and give a check later. But taking with the pawn, yeah, showing up the center is probably most logical. I will take this way next and see which way he wants to take, and then I will castle. Yeah, I thought he might take that way. So this is like a Benoni structure, but I haven't got a fianchetto here. I do have the possibility of knight here to here, which is a good thing. But I think immediately what I need to do is castle and get away from the check. He's got the check. He's got pushing this pawn forward to destroy my center quickly. He exposes himself. Other things I have here are the queen here to hit the loose bishop. Sometimes an idea. And this knight and this bishop, not clear how I want to develop them. So just castle. Maybe this bishop develops to here. Then if it gets kicked around, it comes back to attack this pawn, which is a key piece in his center. Yeah, when black plays the Benoni, normally there's a fianchetto and the bishop is placed here, so you have this, this diagonal, this open square. This is gives rise to tactical possibilities for black. But I think this position is playable too. Now I can move the rook with tempo, with a tempo on the bishop here. He just wants to trade off the light squared bishop. That is interesting. Okay, I'm thinking, I could go here and then I could bring this knight back here to defend it, and then I could put the bishop here. This would all be like an ideal setup for me. There is a fly in the ointment, however, which is that at any time he could play f4 and kick the knight away from the square. So I have to make sure I have an answer to f4. The moment, if I put the knight here and he plays f4, I could move the knight to here, but then he could kick it again. It is a problem. Here, let's put the rook here. Oh, now that's interesting. So that knight is defending the bishop. The queen's also defending too. And he's putting pressure on this pawn. He's going to jump in with the other knight here, I guess. I think I need to stop that, actually. When he has two pieces on this, it's going to be hard to defend. I do have, knight here and stuff like that, but who wants to play that? So we will stop the knight from getting to this square. Now, put the rook here opposite his queen. Yeah, there's that pawn. That pawn push I'd been worried about. Okay, knight here. He takes, I take, and I've got two threats. This one and this one. He didn't go for it. Okay, he's going to be putting his knight into this square. Oh, this knight is loose. Of course, it moved with an attack on the queen, but I should have thought about that. Thought about what I could do to exploit that. Let's see, if I take the pawn and he takes the rook, I take the knight, bishop takes, and then I could take another pawn again or take the knight back. Knight takes rook. No, knight takes pawn, knight takes rook, knight takes knight. And he has to escape with the knight or take my knight. I take here, hitting that. Is that working? Well, knight takes pawn, pawn takes knight, knight takes pawn. So I've got 2 pawns for the knight. It's his move. He can just take the bishop. Or, taking the rook is probably stronger. No, I guess it doesn't work. Knight takes, pawn takes, knight takes, knight takes. And I take his knight. He's got an extra knight, and he's got pressure here. Okay, so I'll go this way then. Let's chase the queen away from there. Here, I need to move a little quicker. Let's save the bishop. Yeah, I'm running into trouble here. Go here. Where are the knight moves? There and there. He could just take the knight now. That was the disadvantage of retreating the bishop here. But I do have this situation now where if I take here, he takes and I take, this knight is hanging. And didn't see immediately that he had a square he could move to. It looks like this, he just loses the knight. So I picked up a couple pawns. But I think if he had taken my knight off at the right time, I think he could have done some real damage to me there. Let's see if I can keep this game in the win column here. Assuming I have managed to finagle a win here. I'm just one pawn up because he won a pawn earlier. He snagged a pawn with his queen. Yeah, I can go here with my knight, which would the queen would be defended. He trades queens and then he wins this pawn, huh? But I take the bishop. Yeah, I think this is... I don't take the bishop if I go there. Go here. Oh no, I'll be taking back and see. It's okay. He didn't take. Yeah, it was if queen takes, then he's got something. So 2 defenders. I think we're okay here. He wants to mate me here, I guess. It's not an immediate problem. But I think shutting down that diagonal will be good for me in the long run. What he could do is he could put a rook here. That would threaten... Yeah, he did that. That would threaten the knight. Okay, I need to go somewhere. Ooh, this is getting ugly. This is getting ugly. I push, he takes. I take, he takes. It's not enough. Maybe theirs is good enough. Because if he takes here with the queen, the bishop is guarding and it's not needed. The problem is the bishop is a bit overloaded here. It's got to defend against the mate. But if he uses his queen to take, then it's okay. So, okay for me. I can take back. Two minutes. 2 minutes of time left. Plus, I get 5 seconds every move, so... Yeah, let's kick the queen for sure. Shut that down now. Okay, I want to step aside with my knight. It looks like he's covering the squares that I want to go to. I don't have to move right away. If I went back here, he can take here. I was just trying to find a way to defend my knight. Bishop takes, pawn takes. Oh no, the bishop defends the queen. He can't take there. The bishop defends the knight against the queen, I meant to say. Yeah, so I wanted to go like this. Knight here, then here. With the fork. Yeah, he's attacking that one. Let's hit the queen first. Pick up the exchange. Okay, so if I were to push, he would actually be able to take. Oh, he's hitting that one. Okay. Yeah, that knight is still a problem for me. Let's see if I can break out something else. It's just a very well-placed knight, giving me all kinds of trouble. Yeah, so I'm going to come in on the light squares here. Push the pawn. Or give a check. Good centralized location for the queen. Centralizing the queen. Well, when I push the pawn, I lose the rook, huh? Okay, be a little careful. Yeah, I think I am going to just give up on that pawn and see if we can get some trades going. Now I'm off that diagonal. I could push this pawn and then take this one. Or I could have taken this one right away, huh? No, the queen's still on it. Okay, push the pawn, then take here. I'm also threatening to take here because of the pin. But I like the idea of winning this pawn, not because it's important as a pawn. It's important as a that it anchors this knight, and in the endgame, it's an outside passer, so it has two values to him. Okay, now I took the queen off of that pawn, huh? I defended this one. So yeah, let's just take this guy. And rook here. I attacks my queen, yeah. Let's see. Let's go back here. He wants to get to my back rank. Very, very sound strategy. Okay, now he runs with the rook. Okay, let's block here. Okay, now pushing this pawn hits the rook, so hits the knight, so the knight needs to move. And then pushing it again forks the queen and the bishop. Unleash the power of the bishop. Even if the queen gets here and threatens to come in with the check, I have rook here supported by the queen to defend. So I really can just take this knight. Yeah, so he ran with the knight. He can take here as a fork. But he's got to move the queen first here, right? If I go here, knight takes pawn, pawn takes queen, knight takes queen, rook takes knight. I win a piece. And I have a pawn on the 7th rank, or second rank, if you count that way. Oh, so he takes that way. Okay. Let's take with the queen. I should try and simplify as much as possible. Okay, I'm going to do this so that I can bring the rook over. Now I wonder... Oh no, I lost on time. Oh no. Let's go to the analysis board and see how much I was ahead by. It is tough to constantly, make all these moves in a complicated position. Even when you're totally winning, it's still a complicated position. So yeah, I was recommending here. What was I thinking about? Well, I was thinking about here, but that's a bad move. Oh yeah, and his queen is hitting my rook. I had to move this rook. Yeah, I was starting to forget that I had to move the rook. I knew that when I played this move. I knew that when his knight moved, I had to move the rook. Then he moved and I didn't move the rook. So this was a blunder. But what happens if his queen takes here? I can take here and queen. So it wasn't actually a blunder. It was just a mental mistake because I had forgotten about the the rook Forgotten about the rook hanging. So I played here, he played here, I pushed, and he went there, and then now I really need to move this rook. And it's my turn, but I ran out of time on this turn. And I was actually about to blunder. If I go here, and he takes here, what's the score? It's still good for me, because I queen. But like I said, it was a mental mistake because I was already forgetting that my rook was hanging. Anyway, yeah, it's tough for me to play a game and keep my concentration all the way through a long game like that. That's something I need to work on, especially if I want to play in tournament chess again, because tournament games are even longer. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you all next time. Bye now.